I'm live. There, I'm bright and shiny. I'm live. So, this is the next episode of your Loonie Liberal Power Hour with your host, Lance Richards, entitled Knowledge is Power. I don't think there's few things that are as true as that statement, I would say. Knowledge is power. But you got to be careful about your knowledge. You got to be careful what you're soaking up. See, me, personally, I've always been kind of like a sponge for information. Bullshit, good shit, in between shit. I soak it all up. Looking back in retrospect, there was a lot of stuff that I soaked up and I didn't even realize I was soaking up. Sometimes it's even to a point that it's a burden and you gotta like shut yourself off from it for a while. So the only thing I ever had trouble with was deciphering it, dissecting it, finding what was right. Because when you're young and you hear all this stuff, you tend to believe adults. You believe the authority. You believe what people tell you. If you trust somebody, you believe the stuff that they're telling you. But then the more you grow up and the more you learn and the more people you hear from, it comes together, hopefully, to a better understanding. The knowledge that you are given is not always good knowledge. The information that you're given is not always good information. We have tools that help us find the good knowledge and the good information, you see. And that's stuff that you start to learn as you grow. Knowledge is power, but it's a lifelong endeavor. It's not powerful like a punch in the face. It's not powerful like money. It's not powerful in that kind of way. It transcends those things. Knowledge transcends money and violence and hate. Knowledge is what everything is made of. Without knowledge, we don't exist. See, that's what separates us from most animals, is that we are able to conceptualize. We are able to understand things and think in complex terms. And we have a brilliant brain thanks to, cooking meat and eating it up. Things like this. We evolved in a manner that made this the most powerful weapon on the planet. What we have in our skulls, it's the most powerful weapon on the planet. Because without it, we would have no weapons. We would have no society. We wouldn't have language. We wouldn't have math. We wouldn't have science. We wouldn't have airplanes or cars. We wouldn't have shit. Without this, we'd be just like the rest of the animals, hanging out in the woods somewhere. Get my meaning? So we have to really not take this for granted. We shouldn't take this for granted, because if you want to say God gave it to you, okay, God gave it to you. If you want to say, the devil owns your brain, okay, I don't care. You want to say it's old-fashioned conservative, you want to say it's liberal and open-minded, I don't give a flying fuck. Just use it. Make smoke come out your ears if you have to. Don't take it for granted. Don't take anything for granted. Don't take anything at face value. would be my words of wisdom to you. If I was going to tell you one thing, don't take anything at face value. Don't just swallow everything that you're told. And I don't give a shit who's telling you. I don't care who's telling you. I question everything and question it again. And later on in your life, question it again. Always continue questioning what you think you know, what you believe, what drives you, what motivates you. Change is absolute. It's never going to stop changing. The world's never going to stop changing. We're never going to stop changing. And we have to use this to keep up with it. That's what separates us. Now, you guys all want to talk about facts. It's a big thing now with these conspiracy theory, conjecture, horseshit, propaganda, deplorable people. That they always want to talk about, well, you just don't do your research and you don't have your facts. Okay, let's talk about facts. Because facts are a big part, they're very important to this knowledge, powerful knowledge that I speak of. Said powerful knowledge. The title of this Loonie Liberal Power Hour with your host, Lance Richards. It's made up of these tiny little pieces called facts. Good knowledge has good facts. Okay? That's established. It's like math, really. Logic, you use logic and reason and facts to come up with powerful knowledge, you see. And you got to be adding good knowledge to make powerful knowledge. Good facts to make powerful knowledge. See where I'm going here? This is the building block to being smart, being an intellect, being knowledgeable, understanding things. These are the building blocks to understanding shit, to figuring stuff out. This is how we figured out the wheel. This is how we figured out the light bulb and electricity. This is how we figured out how to make a car. This is how we figured out how to dig up coal and build bridges and make weapons. And this is what gave us all those things. So this is what leads us on. Fact. Liberal-minded people help us to adapt to change. The absolute change that occurs, and we get better with it. We make a wheel. We make some fire. We make a wheel. We make electricity. We make the light bulb. We make all these things. We fly. We drive around. We've got these computers now. All these things come from this. So, that's established. That's a fact. Liberal-minded people help the world with change, help humanity with change, because they try to understand it, truly get their brains wrapped around it, come up with new ideas, get new perspectives. They want to find the truth. They want the most powerful knowledge they can find, the best facts that they can find, and they question them over and over and over again. As a matter of course, as like breathing, it's instinct. We just keep using it and keep using it and keep using it. We use it up. Now, I understand this as a liberal man. And eventually, everybody should come to understand those facts that I just laid forth in the first 10 minutes of this Loonie Liberal Power Hour with your host, Lance Richards. As a summary, knowledge is power. And good knowledge is made up of good facts. And we build on these things to find understanding. We want to understand things. We want to figure things out. We want to make things better. We want to form a more perfect union. We want to endeavor to be like Jesus and be a perfect guy. Be the best fucking guy we can be. And how do we do that? With this and this, but mostly this. Because this can be led astray. Your heart can get you in trouble sometimes. And trust me, I know. Because I got a big heart. I love people and I just let people run all over me. And that's okay. That's just part of the game. Of my game, anyway. But we want to discuss what's fact. We have to really hammer down this term for you people, I suppose. What's a fact? Okay? What's closer to the truth? Okay? And let's take our biggest example right now, because this is ground zero of our fucked up, repugnant state right now. State of affairs. America's always going to be great, always has been great, and we're going to get her back on track. But right now, we're in the process of getting the wheels back on her. You know, we're going to get the wheels back on her, and we're going to go rolling along where we should be going again. We're going to build back better. Okay. But we also have to come to terms with how we got in the bad spot. Okay? We can't forget about history so quickly. We can't forget about history at all. So we have to figure out how we got here so we don't get there again. Or at least not. At very least, we need to come back closer to the truth. The truths that we hold dear. The things that do really matter. Integrity, honesty, fairness, thoughtfulness, being a good human, decent human being. The golden rule, if you want to talk about Jesus. All people are created equal, endeavoring to form a more perfect union, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. There's some more if you want to be American. These are facts. These are the things we hold dear. Another thing we hold dear, if you love Jesus and if you love America, is justice. Jesus loved justice. He wished he could have had some justice. America loves justice. Truth, justice, and the American way. These are what are important to us. And we have to get back to that. And you have to really wrap your head around what is truly just. What is truly honest and fair and logical and reasonable and closer to the truth. Let's take, for instance, let's take politics. Because I'm hung up on the politics lately. You know, maybe I was skirting my duties before. I didn't, you know, feed you little morsels for a long time like I could have. I could have fed you morsels. I could have helped water your garden of knowledge politically, your political knowledge. I could have done that. I could have been like Johnny Appleseed, I suppose. But I didn't. So now I have to endeavor to fill up your cup of political knowledge. So let's discuss some facts about America. Basic facts, essential facts, facts that are indisputable, facts that are good fucking facts about America. I point to the dialogue. Words matter. Words have always mattered because words make up facts which makes up truth. So you got to be careful with your words, just like you're careful with your facts, and just like you're careful with your knowledge and information. You got to question it all. But it starts with words, doesn't it? So what does the Constitution say? I'm quite certain it discusses in order to form a more perfect union. We hold these truths to be self-evident. These truths. We're going to start off with all people are equal. And given the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness thing. Facts. All people are created equal and given life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Facts. Throw in them Bill of Rights. Right? We're going to protect the welfare and protect the common good and protect posterity. Posterity was in there too. We care about our future. This is about our future. These are facts, folks, in the Constitution that you say you hold so dear and you love. Strong facts in the words of our sacred document that's leading you to the truth. Or it's going to try to. It's going to try to lead you to the truth, you see. Because let's talk about another fact. It's an absolute fact that we have ourselves a righteous notion. Government of, for, and by the people. America is a righteous fucking notion. Perhaps the most righteous notion that the world has seen since Jesus's notion. Jesus's message. We're right there. I mean, Jesus is above us. I mean, he's the Son of God, so they say. So he's above us. But America's right in the same ballpark of righteous notions. It's almost like we got some of our notions from Jesus, because a lot of ours and Jesus's notions mesh pretty well. Ideally, the ideals we lay forth. Jesus was all about being perfect, treating everybody equal, wasn't he? I'm certain he was. That's a fucking fact. Because, oh, by the way, I'm a little Catholic boy too, and I know this shit. So, okay, hey man, I'm all about making this a quasi-Christian nation. We should. Let God and Jesus' message guide us. Okay, let's do that. Jesus helped the sick and the poor. Jesus was a teacher. Jesus cared about the truth. He cared about humanity. Everybody. Jesus was crucified by conservative religious rule, conservative nationalist religious rule. Crucified, abused, tortured by the same shit you guys are trying to spit right now. And that's a fact, Jack. But it's a more complex fact. Let's get back to basic fact, shall we? Basic fact. We forgot about the First Amendment. What's in the First Amendment? What's the very first thing in the First Amendment? Thou shalt not establish a religion, and thou shalt not discriminate against the religion. I'm pretty sure we put that in there for Jesus too. Because like I said, first off, a conservative religious rule crucified him, killed him, tortured him, then killed him, after all he did for him, including dying. Then some motherfuckers took Jesus' messages and did the crusades and then spit on his message again by committing genocide in his name. That was some pretty dirty shit. That was some time that went against the truth a little bit, I would say. They went contrary to the truth there in the Middle Ages and such. That's a fact, Jack. Get where I'm going here? So these are established facts. We're a righteous notion. America's badass. So was Jesus. Jesus was badass too. Are these not facts? Am I not spewing facts? How about the facts in the Constitution that I've spewed thus far? Is there any deplorables want to stand up and say, no, that's fake news? Anybody? Anybody in the peanut gallery want to stand up and say, whoa, Mr. Liberal, sir, but wait a second, time out. The Confederate flag is part of my heritage. No, it's not. No, it's not. If you're from around my town, you live in the North. It's not part of your heritage. And if you want a defeated enemy of America loser to be part of your heritage, so be it. But I don't need to fucking see that shit. Fact. But back to basic facts. Basic facts. So what's next? The freedom of the press. The freedom of information, the freedom to find your own facts, your own knowledge, to have no knowledge and facts forced upon you. That's the freedom of the press, folks. That's why it's really fucking important. It's right up there with life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and religious freedom. So much so that they put it all in the same First Amendment with stuff. Put it in the preamble and the First Amendment, and here it is. Here's our truths. Here's our facts. Our forefathers set forth on this nation, on this continent, a new nation, conceived in liberty, dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. See, Abraham reiterated it for you back when you were trying to stray from the truth again. We always have to come back to these truths, folks, that you have strayed way the fuck away from. Way the fuck away from. I mean, gonzo, man. Like outside your mind. Like you might as well just go over in the desert and try and be a dictatorship. You might as well go over and form Christian ISIS and try and take over the desert now, because that's where you're at. That's where you find yourselves, and you don't even know it. That's how okey-doked you are. You're so okey-doked that you don't even really live in America no more. You live over in the desert, and you want to go take over the desert with your Christian ideals and your misogyny and your ignorance. So go over there and fight it out in the desert with them ignorant fuckers. Go ahead. Us Americans will take care of America again. And we'll take care of those fuckers over in the desert too, eventually. We'll straighten their asses up too, eventually. We'll get there. First, we got to straighten our own asses up, I guess, right? Okay, so let's talk about some things that aren't fact. What's not a fact? Okay, black men can be the president. Just because he was black doesn't mean he can't be a good president. So you might as well just say it. Because you come up with all kinds of other bullshit reasons why he wasn't a good president. But really, you just wanted to say, I don't want that black man being in charge of me. So just say that. Don't come up with all kinds of other bullshit that ain't true. Don't pretend like he ain't from America. That ain't a fact. Don't pretend like he's a Muslim terrorist. That ain't a fucking fact. He ain't gonna take your guns. He didn't, did he? All these stupid bullshit fucking things that you brought back the KKK for that man. You blamed him for dividing and being a racist. You guys were mad because he was a black man in the White House, not us. Okay. Something that ain't a fact. Hillary would have been a goddamn way better. There is no person. I don't even know if there's been a human being in our lifetime. I know there hasn't been in our lifetime. A human being in our lifetime that was more qualified and should have been the president more than Hillary. I mean, Hillary was everything but a president. She's been everything but a fucking president in this country. There's nobody that was more qualified and ready to do that job than Hillary Rodham Clinton, regardless of what you think about her. Nobody was more qualified. Nobody could have been a better president than her. That's just absurd to even say it. But somehow you guys passed it off as fact. Somehow you made a punk ass, stupid, ignorant son of a bitchin' rich boy and let him play dictator for 4 years and still have the balls to say he's the best president we ever had, instead of letting a woman take her turn that she earned. That's what you guys did. That's how history is going to remember you, as the white conservative misogynist sons of bitches that you are, that just didn't want a woman to be in charge because they was mad because the black guy had a chance to be in charge and did a damn skippy job. And they couldn't take it. It threatened their ego. Threatened their whiteness. Their conservative Christian values. Their nationalism. Their ultra-patriotism. I'm just all about them veterans. But I'll watch them starve on the streets. Funny. If it wasn't so shitty for the last 4 years, I would have laughed quite a bit at you guys. I still laughed quite a bit at you guys, but I would have done considerable more. I wouldn't. That's probably all I would have done, is laugh, if it wasn't so shitty. See, that's what you guys. I think that's why I rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, because they're not used to this side of me. Because I want to be laid back. I want to be easygoing. I don't want to be ruffling feathers and rattling cages. I don't want to be doing that, but I can. I felt that I should, and I continue to feel that I should, but I don't want to have to do that. But you guys are making me. I wish you'd quit making me. Just pay attention, listen, be thoughtful, be honest, be fair. We'll get back this shit back in order for everybody. First, you got to admit you fucked up. And I'm trying to help you see how and why, which is what I've been doing for years. I'm a Trump veteran. I started digging trenches as soon as he came down the escalator. And that's truth. That's fact, Jack, too. It's there. You can go look. Until Trump somehow shuts me down. Trying to shut me down on MTV. Trying to shut me down on Facebook Live. So I had to hop over here to YouTube Live. Which it's tough for me because before the lives, I'd always kind of type something too. Get my mind focused, get me right. And I thought about taking some notes, but I didn't. And I'm not much for note taking anyway. Sometimes it's good to get me focused, and the typing did me well. Now there's nowhere to type, so anyway. So we're about halfway through this. And this is a very good theme. Let's start over. This is your Loonie Liberal Power Hour with your host, Lance Richardson. Today we're going to talk about knowledge is power. Reinforce that, because it's true. Knowledge is power. This is power. It's the most powerful weapon we have. It's our brain. Our brain has given us everything we have. Without it, we wouldn't be where we're at. So we owe it to each other to try and use it a little bit, guys. Is basically what this particular episode is trying to say. Is that we, as human beings, owe it to ourselves, I think. And I wanted to discuss some facts. Okay, and I want to take this time. This is near and dear to me, and this really is. I might even give it a whole half hour because I really haven't had a chance to talk about it for a while. And I've sort of lost my. I just bring him up every now and again, but I truly am a keyboard warrior for Jesus. At least that was my title on a page or two. And I believe it. I mean, I'm all about Jesus. Like I said, I am baptized, communed, and confirmed little Catholic boy. Amazing Grace was my first favorite song till I heard American Pie, and then that was that. Amazing Grace continues to be my favorite religious song. I love that song. It saved a wretch like me. And Jesus' message is a very big part of me. If you spit in the face of Jesus, that pisses me off. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't that kind of angel. I don't turn the other cheek when it comes to Jesus most of the time. I'm gonna stand up for Jesus. I'm gonna tell you what I think about it. I mean, I don't think we should be fighting about Jesus, like throwing hands or anything, or getting in a scrap. But I'm going to defend what I think what's right and what's wrong about Jesus, and I'll explain it to you, and I'll back it up with as close as you can find to the facts of Jesus. Now, let's establish, folks, that I'm rooted in conservative ideals. I'm rooted in my Catholic ideals, Jesus's message. I'm firmly rooted in that conservative ideal. But I also have a liberal mind, and I'm open-minded to the fact that Jesus is based on faith. My love for Jesus and my understanding of Jesus and how I choose to live my life because of Jesus, that's mine. That's not something that I can impose on any. I can't say that's fact. I can't tell anybody that I know for sure. I can't call my faith in Jesus' message fact. All I can call it is something I believe in and something that drives me and tries to keep me righteous. Because that's what Jesus' message is about, being righteous as you possibly can. That's what the Bible's trying to teach you, how to be righteous, how to be as good of a human being as you possibly can be, because that's what Jesus was. Jesus was the personification of perfection in man, in human beings. And that is something that we should strive to be if we're true Christians. That's the message of Jesus. That's how he changed humanity. Because he helped people see a better way. See a way that led to being more righteous. The golden rule. Turning water into wine and taking care of the sick and the poor and the downtrodden. Being fair and honest. Being willing to stand up and die for what you believe in. Being kind and courteous. And trying to remove all your ego. Helping humanity get better was what he was all about. Trying to save humanity from themselves is what he personified. And of course, us as regular mortals, human beings, we perverted that message time and time again. We've abused that message to the point where it's almost meaningless now. But there are some people that truly believe it and truly practice it. Sure, you got them bad priests and you got the bad nuns and you got them bad Catholics and you got them bad Baptists and you got bad Protestants, but you got good ones too. You got really good ones. There's a lot of very good things that people have done for humanity. They did it because they were trying to be good like Jesus too. Many people have been saved by Jesus' message. And I don't know I tend to believe I was saved by my kids, but maybe that was Jesus sending them to me. I don't know. I can't say for sure. So we can't call that fact. All we can call that is belief, faith. You have faith in a higher power, and you're allowed to have that faith. You're allowed to believe what you want to believe about Jesus or Buddha or pink unicorns or Sasquatch, or I don't give a shit. One of the greatest people I've ever known in my life was a devout Catholic woman, my grandma. And she believed in Jesus. Jesus was always her answer. And there's few people in this world that I even have close to the same respect for and hold as dear. She was about as perfect as they come to me. And I directly relate that to her love for Jesus and how she endeavored to live like Jesus did. She used Jesus' message to guide her righteously through her life, at least her adult life. And that was something that humbles me, that puts me in awe. To this day, when I went to her funeral, they had a big funeral for her at St. Mary's in St. Clairsville, and we went in there and they had a mass for her and everything, and I was just in awe again. Church to me, just to think about Jesus's message, to think about how hard that would be for me. It humbles you. It makes you want to do better. But it shouldn't consume society. And my liberal mind allows me to understand that and see that different perspective. Now, see, if I had a conservative mind, I wouldn't have that open mind. My religious views would be stuck in my head and nothing else would get in. And that's what happens to you guys. That's what's happened to Christians. That's what religion does to people. That's what Islam does to them crazy ISIS people. They read the Quran conservatively. They take their religious ideals and notions and apply them conservatively. That's why their women aren't allowed to show their face or their ankles. That's why their women are their property. Sound familiar, guys? A woman's your rib, here to serve you and be barefoot and pregnant. It's the same thing. Just different societies, a different religion. But it's the same conservative notions that's driving them. That's a fact, Jack. And you can't do that in America. I'm not allowed to do that, and you're not allowed to do that. And they're not allowed to do that. You can't have a holy war in America. If you want to get in the holy war, go to the desert. They got the land over there. The Holy Land's over there. Okay, this is America. The only Holy Land we have here is Native American Holy Land. Okay, that's the only Holy Land that's over here. And we already won that battle, didn't we? So we don't have to worry about religious notions. In fact, our Constitution tells us that we can't be saddled with religious notions, any religious notions. We can believe what we want, but we can't saddle nobody else with it. And that, my friends, is a fact. A very righteous and strong fact. Ideal. Truth. And you should apply it. You must apply it. Now, you can still stand up for Jesus, but you can't make everybody else believe Jesus like you do. You can't. You don't have a monopoly on what Jesus thinks or what he believes or what he would say. You don't know what Jesus thinks. You don't know what God thinks. Every religion will tell you, in every religion, there is a notion of omnipotence. God is all knowing, and you cannot fathom what God knows. You don't have the capability to comprehend what God knows. God's will and God's knowledge and understanding is out of your realm. Entirely and completely, absolutely out of your realm. So stop pretending like it's in your realm, because it's not. And that's one of the basic pillars of America. It's in the Constitution repeatedly. It's in the amendments repeatedly. Separation of church and state. The dialogue of our forefathers. They all understood that religion should not be in charge of us. Perhaps it should guide us in a lot of ways, yes. It should make you a better person and want to help people and do best and be better. But you can't lord over people with your religious notions in this country. And people understood that. Because our forefathers sat and watched it happen. Their parents, that's why they left over there, most of them, is because they didn't like how religion got to rule them. So they came over here to escape religious persecution. Fact. Truth. Historical fact. So how does anything that you're saying now make sense? This is how it gets more complex. So now apply these facts to what you're spewing the last 4 years. Same thing with the freedom of the press. Apply that. Apply those facts. There's a reason why our forefathers wanted us to be able to hear every side, to have all kinds of information, to have freedom of information, freedom of the press. We are free to hear all perspectives and choose for ourselves. But you cannot beat us down with any one perspective. You can't call everything else fake and pretend like you have a monopoly on the truth, which is what you've done for 4 years. And you don't have any truth. None. That I can see. Nuggets. Every once in a while, I'll see a nugget. I'll be fair. I'll be thoughtful. I'll be honest. Okay, here it is. Every once in a while, I'll see a nugget. Like liberal, too liberal. Every once in a while, I see some people getting too liberal. One is with their children now. Yes, I do think that people are too easy on their kids a lot of times. Hell, I think my parents were too easy on me sometimes. I think their parents were probably too easy on them sometimes. I think that's part of the fatal flaw of America is we tend to get easier on our kids as we go. And yeah, I think that we should bring back a good old-fashioned trip to the woodshed once or twice to let them know that, hey man, we care about you. We're trying to help you. But see, here's the rub. We have to try to be good for them, to teach them the right things. No, I don't think a stupid racist motherfucker should be able to beat their kid because he's not racist too. Or to be able to beat their kid because he thinks he's gay. No, I don't think you should be able to beat your kid for that. I think you should be able to smack your kid in the mouth if he says the N-word. If he's disrespectful to people, you should be able to yell at him, tell him, say, hey, man, quit it. You know, I was raised, my parent, you know, I spoke when spoken to. Till later on. Later on, I was a little fucking heathen and an asshole, and I probably should have got my ass whooped a lot more. But the truth is that sometimes we are too liberal. I do see that. I do see certain nuggets in your conservative ideals and views. I do. But I also see a different kind of strength from people. I see how people are strong and are still capable. Some of them kids know shit that you ain't ever going to know. Kids get better than us, too. We were better than our parents. They were better than their parents in a lot of ways. We were able to adapt better. Old people have trouble adapting, but young people adapt well. They catch up good. My kid remembers all kinds of shit. Shit that I don't even remember. Smart. Just so, like, smart as a whip. Quick-witted, funny. Just smart. Retains all kinds of knowledge. I'm in awe of the shit that he remembers. Of all kids, really. But the problem is are we encouraging them? You know, I hear all these adults talking about millennials. The millennials are, you know, they're like the whippersnappers that were skateboarding on their lawn, on their sidewalk. Get off my walk, sonny. You know, damn whippersnappers. Old guys are always talking about the whippersnappers, and they ain't like they used to be. I remember my dad saying it about us. I remember my grandpa saying it about him. I'm sure great-grandpa said it about him. It's just generation gap. But we got tough kids too. Our kids are still tough too. Make no mistake about it, but they don't have to wear it on their sleeves. A lot of people don't have to wear it on our sleeves anymore. But I strayed from the focus. I got too complex. Let's get back to basic facts for the last couple minutes here. Basic facts. Knowledge is power. Good knowledge is made up of good facts. Facts are made up of logical and reasonable words that are strung together to find these facts. You use history, you use science, you use logic, you use reason, you use sociology. You apply these things to the knowledge that you are gaining, and you search for the truth. Using this thing right up here. And I think that we've gotten away with it too long where we didn't have to use it. We have the luxury of a lot of us don't have to even think. We don't even have to worry about that. All we got to worry about is how we make money and how to eat and how to walk. Breathing we do without really even thinking, but some of the other stuff we got to think about. Think about complex issues, subjects. Use some empathy. Think hard about things. Be fair, be honest with yourself, be thoughtful. Really work this thing up here. Ponder things, let them rattle around. See other perspectives. Use your imagination, for fuck's sakes. You want to play with conspiracy theories, that's fine. But you can't call conspiracy theories facts. You can't say that a conspiracy theory is truth. We can't do that anymore, guys. We can't allow that to happen. And if you're part of that, if you think that shit's okay, that you can't back up any of your bullshit, all the bullshit you're getting is you're being fed all this bullshit and then you're regurgitating it. If you can't break it down for me and make it logical and reasonable and make me understand what you're trying to say, if all you can say is I'm just stupid and ignorant and I'm a snowflake and I don't get it and I've got TDS and MAGA 2020 and all your catchphrases and all your cognitive dissonance and all your plumb dumb ignorance, that's all you got for me, I don't want to hear it. You got to start bringing the facts now. You got to really show me that your knowledge is better than mine. Your understanding is better than mine. And you don't do that with your fists. You don't do that with your guns. You do that with your brain. You do that with having better knowledge, more logical, more reasonable knowledge. Hell, try to show me how my knowledge isn't good, besides the fact that you think I'm just a liberal snowflake with TDS. Break it down. Tell me how anything that I've said, anything that I've established as fact, was not. Because this is just the basic foundation. These are just essential facts. I mean, we got to get more complex and we got to build on these things. Every situation and every circumstance, you're applying different things to. It's different. It is a lot like math. Different equations equal different circumstances. You have to put these things together. Complex things with many perspectives, a lot of nuggets of truth thrown everywhere and scattered, and you got to gather them all up and find them and put them together. Critically think, which a lot of you deplorables just simply can't do or won't do or are afraid to do. And we need you need to do. You need to start doing. Okay? Because that's where we're headed again. And we want to bring you along. Okay? We don't want you to stay bitter and pissed off and hate the world and be a dick for the next 4 years. We want you to hop on board the Biden train, smoking Joe, toot toot. Because your Trump train crashed, bro. It crashed. Practice what you preach. You said, just give him a chance. Give him a chance. Well, we gave you a chance. We told you were shitty all along. But you were wrong. So now accept that you were wrong and be thoughtful and honest and fair to Joe, like you weren't to Obama, like you weren't to Hillary. Give Joe the shot that you never gave Obama, you never gave Hillary, you never really gave Slick Willie. Fair? Practice what you preach. You're conservative minded and you got integrity and honor. Come on, man. We got hashtag America. Gonna build back better. America was never not great, you dumbass. Okay, so that's about an hour. 30 seconds off of an hour. So as always, be safe, be kind, be strong, be thoughtful, be honest, be fair. Try to be like Jesus if you can. Give it a shot. Why not? Be a good American. Live up to the Constitution like you say. Read the Constitution. really think about the words that are in the Constitution. How do they apply to where we're trying to go here, guys? Where we've been trying to go for the last over 200 years now. Forming a more perfect union, making everybody equal, life, liberty, pursuit of the happiness, etc., etc., etc. Righteous notions that have gotten this far, and it will continue to get us further, in spite of you. That's all I got for now. Thanks a lot if you listened, and it's your fault if you didn't. Dumbass out.